What most people don't know is that on record, there are thousands of psychologists working to prove that black people are inferior when it comes to intelligence. At the same time, we have drugs, a culture of drugs and denial that allows for substances to be flooded into black areas. Flint, Michigan, Detroit, DC, places in Chicago. Okay, these places are designated sabotage zones, projects, experiments. How can we create a society where these people are seen as the most inferior? And of course, there's other groups that they sabotage, poor people in general, a lot of the Hispanic community, Puerto Ricans and so on. Yes, there are token minorities that are a complete bitch. They may as well walk around with nothing but a rainbow thong with a little sign on their back saying, I am a little teapot and a bitch. Okay? That doesn't mean anything. Some house nigga who's avoided the storm because he sucks master's dick and rides goats does not disprove how things work. It never has, it never will. Now you can play stupid about it and act like a sniveling bitch. Rest assured, when people make arguments of supremacy based in immorality, based on the principles of evil and cunning, it makes it so that true heroes expose them. Yes, you are naked, and it is shameful. Society rejects the idea of a hero. Why? Because the true hero emphasizes the difference between a man and a woman. A hero at his best is a heterosexual man. So it also expresses the difference between Western culture and a specific and pretty much obscured African culture. One culture that is the followers of the principles of good. Any variation of that is not that in its pure form is using the principles of evil. You either are trying your best to be good and not caring about your life or the life of anyone else as you do so, unless it's in a way that is consistent with the principles of good. You should be willing to sacrifice everybody, and nothing can budge you. If anything can budge you and keep you from doing the right thing, then you are not a good person. You are a person who is just, who is too vulnerable to evil to be good. To be good, you have to dwell on the idea of dying for what you believe every day. It is the repetition of good. You cannot have weakness that allows for evil people to exploit it. That's why everybody pretty much is evil but me. Because I'm the only one who focuses on what it takes to be good and cultivates it mind, body, and soul. Okay? So it also highlights the difference between the rich and the poor. The rich are a bunch of evil, whiny, sniveling, sabotaging Ebert trash. Okay? The hero is obviously going to be sabotaged by bitches who are trying to look good. How could anyone for even a moment not understand that? So the greatest differences have to do with the ideal person. The ideal rich person, right, is not a good person. He can't be good and rich at the same time. Okay? The ideal man, right, is somebody who focuses on what God expects of him naturally. Right? Let's face it. He can't be gay. Okay? He can't be a conformist. Okay? He can only be seeking to connect to what God expects of him. This is what a true hero is. Right? He doesn't fight to the death for communism. He doesn't fight to the death for the Americanism, for imperialism, for capitalism, and so on and so forth. Right? He only fights to the death for the highest principles of morality and trying to restore the divine order. Okay? If you're trying to get people to God in an orderly fashion, in the only fashion they can go, you're going to insist on restoring the divine order. There is no being good outside of the divine order. If you're saying, hey, let's accept this evil society and do the best we can, you are not doing the will of God. If you are saying, let's order things in a way so people can effectively understand what the right thing to do is, and pretty much everybody conforms to truth and good, right? Proforms, preforms, okay? Preforms to be the pro. Then you're doing the right thing, then you're good, right? Anything other than that is evil. If you give a kid a lollipop on the condition that you let him fuck him in the ass and the kid's starving, right, are you a good person? Of course you're not. It's fucking stupid. It's insane to think that way. That's what pretty much Western culture is. It is sexual immorality, including pedophilia, on the highest levels, is the core of the culture. And you're saying to the world, we will help you if you let us plug your kids. And you let, our demons have sex with your most attractive women. That's not being good. You fucking kidding me? It's insane to see it that way. To see that as being good. How the fuck is that good? It's just stupid. You know? The difference between all the other philosophies in mine is that they do not allow for an actual hero, just the illusion of one. Again, I tell you, the difference between all other philosophies in mine is they do not allow for an actual hero to be created, just the illusion of one. Now again, they might give food to the poor. They might do this and that. This is why in the Bible, Jesus said the poor will always be with you. He said, look, the divine order is what fucking matters. Focus on that. Even if it means everybody starves to death, including you. You focus on that. If everybody's going to accept good and a structure built on ill-gotten gains, they're better off dead anyway. So, period. Nothing matters other than just restoring the divine order. Once you're in the divine order, all good flows from there. Right? No good comes from anywhere else. Right? How can a tree that is bad bear good fruit? Okay? And of course, the fruit proves my point, right? Apple, apple, pear, to pair things together, and so on and so forth. Okay, I don't have time. We're in orange, arrange, and so on. All right. And it's the difference between understanding those things and abusing them and insisting on the divine order, which leads you to focus on what matters most. The only reason I have to even look at this thing is I have to explain it to people who are stuck in that system of good and evil and say, hey, you have a degree of the knowledge. Here's some more. Leave that tree and go to the tree of life. The damsel in distress proves my point. Do women save men in distress? When's the last time you've heard that? When was the last time you heard a woman in the divine order, okay, saving a man in distress? I've never heard, in all my research, I've never come across a single example of it in Egypt or otherwise. Okay, even though the story of Osiris is the story of somebody outside of the divine order. He's the Lord of the Black. He's not bringing you to Ra. Yeah, he's trying to usurp Ra's powers, and that's what the followers of Osiris were seeking to do, to usurp the powers and the function of the cult of Ra and Haru, right? Haru the Elder, versus he's diminished to some kind of child of some kind of usurper, which was also what Amen sought to do, and Min and everyone else. Okay, which is why panic. Right? Pandemonium, pandemic, pun, right? Pan means all, and backwards means nap. You are asleep. You need to wake up with intensity and go into the divine order. Okay. Government persecution highlights this idea definitively. Controlled revolution versus the highest moral cause. What are the differences? Okay, so again, if you are not persecuted, you are not doing the right thing. If you're not persecuted as uncontrolled opposition, seeking to restore the divine order, you are not doing the right thing. You live in a very evil world, a very corrupt government, where Nazis helped the president get elected on record, and he still got elected. Okay? You live in a very evil society, where the left basically is openly satanic, dressing like vampires and batshit crazy motherfuckers, and the right is openly racist. Okay, white supremacists. You basically have the rich white scientific racists teamed up with the Nazi racists, and then there's a few white guys who don't know what to do. That's the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is a bunch of gays who are like, oh, forget the fact the black community needs to man up to save itself. Let's make them all pluggers so we can have more people to have sex with. And a bunch of feminists saying, hey, as long as they worship, females, that's fine with me. As long as it creates more lesbians, that's fine with me. Okay, that's pretty much the Democratic Party and a bunch of immigrants who are desperate to find their life in this world by coming here, right? Why come to America? Because you're trying to find your life in this world. okay, and a bunch of a bunch of house niggas who are desperate to put themselves above righteous heroes and people who are more physically gifted than them and seen as having more sexual prowess than them, which is kind of part of a popular culture, right? The black guy has the big dick. He's hyper masculine, right? So if you're a kind of Ebert-ass scientist fucking geek, right, you're trying to put yourself above that guy and get the attractive black woman. That's the Democratic Party. It's a disgrace. This whole country is a fucking disgrace. It is disgraceful not to be persecuted in this country. You are ashamed to your parents. Your parents should probably kill themselves praying to God to forgive them if you are not persecuted by this piece of shit nation. Okay. Just by engaging me, they have lost. If they cannot see that they can't beat me sparring, then they are failed in life. And they need to submit to me that much more, And if they have engaged me on a spiritual level, they have already lost. If you can't see that God favors me above controlled opposition, bitches, you have already lost in life. All right, so let's see. Basically, it's the difference between people with discipline versus weirdos, right? Let's face it, a white supremacist is a weirdo. A scientific racist, Lothrop Stoddard, the white race is superior. He's a fucking spaz. He's a weirdo. Okay? You look at the different, the liberals are weirdos. I have pride. Woohoo, woohoo. It's fucking weird. I'm a vampire. I'm a little teapot. I'm a yuppie playing tennis. They're fucking weird. Right? It's people with discipline. Raw! Versus fucking sissy weirdos. How could anyone wish that? Because of the myths, right? Because they're on some bitch shit. Some period-having, crazed, fucking psychopath, weird fucking slut bitch shit. Okay? I mean, come on. The fuck are we even talking about here? There's thousands of psychologists trying to prove that fucking white people are superior when it comes to intelligence, and nobody is doing anything effectively about it. So a few Jews or something try to, toe the party line and say, hey, that's not fair. You're ignoring this and this, right? If people commonly don't hear that and don't commonly come to that point of view, what is the ultimate effect? Or you think these scientists don't think about the greater effect of their actions? You think they're men of principle? If they're men of principle, they would die trying to restore the divine order. They wouldn't play their part in the New World Order and add a little mixture so a few house niggas can say, look at this study right here. I am the way for the black community. I'm a pencil dick house nigga that is a scientist. I have the studies that make us look good, that help us survive. He's a bitch. Get him the fuck out of here. He's a traitor to ancestors. I don't want to hear what a lying traitor and a coward pussy has to say.